I'm joined now by Dr. Sizo Nkala, who is a research fellow at the University of Johannesburg's Center for Africa-China Studies, who joins me now and has written quite a few pieces with regards to the war out of the DRC and the situation of Rwanda as well, and their influence, of course, in the region as well. Dr. Nkala, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. Let's just get your sense of where proceedings are right now, and I don't necessarily speak about South Africa's relationship with Rwanda, of course, that we'll get to, but really with regards to the war out in DRC and the situation as you see it out of East DRC right now.
I think we couldn't be in a worse position in the DRC. So right now you have the M23 rebels. We have captured North Kivu, the North Kivu province, as you mentioned earlier. They are moving to capture the South Kivu province. These are key strategic areas that they've been fighting over with the Congolese armed forces. So right now, the M23 rebels have got the upper hand. They have disarmed mercenaries that were fighting on the side of the DRC government forces. They also disarmed one of the militias that was fighting alongside the DRC government forces. So they've captured territory. They've also captured some forces as well. They have the upper hand. At the same time, the diplomatic relations between DRC and Rwanda have broken down almost completely. The DRC asked Rwandan diplomats to move out of the country. It's a low point of the crisis. Also, as you mentioned, that there was a gathering by the East African community yesterday. So the DRC did not turn up to that summit, which means it's not even prepared to have a dialogue with Rwanda, which is believed to be part of the to be funding and supporting the M23 rebuild. So it's quite a crisis we have in the DRC.
So how close or how far are we then from any kind of sit down at the very least? It looks like a solution is a bit far off here, but just even a sit down and understanding where exactly we are, what the reasons are for what's happening right now, how exactly do we quell the tensions and the anger from the M23, which of course are said to be Rwandan-backed as well?
The prospects of a sit down right now look really dim at the moment. It's just leaders trading threats against each other. And if you look at prior to this point, there were two processes that were aimed at bringing peace and resolving the DRC crisis, especially the hostilities between DRC and Rwanda. One of them was the Rwanda process that was overseen or mediated by the Angolan President Lourenco. And also the other one was the Nairobi peace process that was overseen by Kenya, Kenya's President William Ruto. So both of these processes have collapsed. Nothing came out of these processes. Rwanda and DRC were trading blaming one another for the failures of these peace processes. So regarding Rwanda and DRC, who are at the center of this crisis, they seem to be so far apart that a sit down is almost impossible right now. Maybe we might have to see some external actors intervening in this situation. I'm talking here about maybe Western countries who hold much leverage, especially with Rwanda in terms of supporting their budget. They can force Rwanda to the negotiating table. So unless that happens, I don't think a sit down will be possible anytime soon.
Dr. Nkala, just for clarity, are we still dealing with a tribal battle here, a tribal war, so to speak? Or has this certainly moved, in the case of both Rwanda and the DRC, to then a war based off of minerals and wealth?
Well, just to put some context in that, I think so. This war, the DRC conflict, the origins of the conflict started when a tribe known as the Banyarwanda in the Eastern in Eastern DRC felt that they were being discriminated against by the DRC government. This was back in the 1990s. In 96, there was the first Congo War, in which Rwanda funded, exploited the grievances of the Banyarwanda tribe and sponsored them, sponsored their uprising against the DRC government, then led by Mobutu Sese Seko. So Mobutu Sese Seko's government was toppled in 1997, replaced by Laurent Kabila. But again, the Banyarwanda community, they were complaining about discrimination and marginalization. Rwanda supported them, supported the uprising, resulting in the, I think, in the assassination of Laurent Kabila and the installation of a new government in the DRC. I'm citing this to show that Rwanda has always been involved in the DRC. So they exploited, I think, tribal grievances in the Eastern DRC to intervene in the DRC with I think their own objectives. One major objective of theirs was to address the issue of the forces, democratic forces for the liberation of Rwanda, which is made up of Hutu militants that are accused of having committed genocide in Rwanda in 1994, and they ran away to the DRC and regrouped, formed this militia, intending to go back to Rwanda. So the Rwandan government was going for that group. So I think the situation evolved to include, I think, economic factors as well, natural resources in the eastern region of the DRC, which is quite rich in gold deposits.
Doctor,
so
sorry to interject. It's just we don't have too much time as well. Let's talk about South Africa's role in this, if you will, very quickly as well. Where does South Africa sit? Are we peacekeeping or are we mediators in trying to get peace?
I don't think South Africa is peacekeeping because first and foremost, South African soldiers were deployed to the DRC under the SADC mission in the DRC, which was deployed on the 15th of December 2023. If you look at the deployment statement, it says that the SADC forces will fight alongside Congolese forces to neutralize the rebel groups. So they did not, no way did that statement mention any peacekeeping mandate. So they did not go to the DRC for peacekeeping. They went there to fight alongside the DRC government to neutralize the rebels that were causing havoc in the eastern region of the DRC.
Very interesting concept. And I think this is why we need to get a whole lot more clarity on this situation, because the more we know, the more we understand, the better equipped we are for solutions.